altar, the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not avenge our blood on them that dwell upon the earth? And it was white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest a little season until their fellow servants and their brethren should be killed as they are should be fulfilled. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, a great earthquake, and the sun became as a sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars fell upon the earth, even as a fig tree casteth an untimely fig when she is taken of a mighty wind. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled up together, and the island and mountains moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captain, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and rocks of the mountains, and cried unto the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth upon the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, from the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand it? And chapter 7. After these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that they should not blow on the earth, neither on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, See thou hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor any tree, until we have sealed the living servants of a living God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them that were sealed. They were sealed 144,000 out of the tribes of the children of Israel. I'm going to tell the list of the number. Tribes: Judah, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin were sealed 12,000 each. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, out of every nation, kindred, people, and tongue, stood before the throne and the Lamb, clothed in white robes, and palms in their hand. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and fell before the throne upon their faces, and worshipped God, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory, wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our God. Amen. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white, and whence came they? And I said unto me, Sir, thou knowest. And he said unto me, These are they which are come out of great tribulations, and I have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Thus are they before the throne, and shall serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth upon the throne shall dwell among them, and they shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither the sun shall light upon them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and lead them to live in fountains of water. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. And chapter 8. And I saw, when the Lamb had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels stand before God, and to them was given seven trumpets. And I saw another angel come and stand at the altar, having a golden censer, and to him was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which is before the throne. And smoke which came with the prayers of all the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices, and thundering, and lightning, and an earthquake, when the seven angels, which are the seven trumpets, prepared themselves to sound. And the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and it was cast out into the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood, and the third part of the creatures in the sea which had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven upon the earth, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and fountains of water, and the name of the star is wormwood. And the third part of the waters were made wormwood, and many men died because of waters, because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the star. So the third part of it was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld, and I heard an angel flying in the midst of heaven, and he cried with a loud voice, saying, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the voices of the trumpets of the three angels which are yet to sound. Chapter 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, upon the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke ascended out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and power was given unto them, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt any grass, nor any green thing, nor any tree, but only those men which had not the seal of God in their foreheads. And it was given unto them that they should it was given unto them that they should not be killed, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as a scorpion striketh a man, and in those days shall men seek death and not find it, and decide to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horsemen prepared unto battle, and they had on their heads as it were crowns of gold. Their face were as the face of men. They had teeth like teeth of lion, and they had hair of women, and they had breastplate as it were breastplates of iron. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in the tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but he had his name in the Greek tongue Apollyon. 1 woe is past, and there come 2 more woes hereafter. And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. And the 4 angels were loosed, and the number of the army of horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them, and I saw in the vision the horses, and they that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were like unto heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. And with these 3 were the third part of men killed by the fire, by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. And their power was in their mouths and in their tails, and they had tails like unto serpents, and there were heads in the tails, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of the deeds of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and stone and wood. And neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornications, nor of their thefts. Chapter 10. I saw a mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as if were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his right hand a little book open, and set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot upon the earth. And he cried mightily as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, the 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders have uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the earth and sea and the earth lifted up his hand up to heaven, and sware by him which liveth forever and ever, which made the heavens and the things therein are, and the earth and the things therein are, and the sea and things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. And in the days of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be fulfilled, as he hath declared unto his servants the prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake with me again, and saying, go and take the little book which is open in the hands of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto me, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. It shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. It was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said, thou must yet prophesy before many people, nations, tongues, and kings. Chapter 11. And there was given unto me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that dwell therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 40 and 2 months. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, they must in this manner be killed. And these have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecies, and to smite and turn water to blood, and to smite the earth with all the plagues as often as they will. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and overcome them, and kill them. Then their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And the rest of the people and kindred kindred, and tongue, and nation shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies to be put into graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and send gifts one to another. For these true prophets had tormented them that dwell upon the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. The second woe is past, the third woe cometh quickly. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign on the earth. And the 24 elders and the 4 beasts which sat before God upon their seats fell down and worshipped God, saying, We give thee thanks, O Lord, which art and wast and art to come, for thou hast taken unto thee thy great power and hast reigned. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and thou should give reward unto thy servants, the prophets and the saints, and they that fear thy name, both small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And the temple of God was open in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightning and voices and thundering and earthquake and great hail. Chapter 12. And I saw a great wonder in heaven. Behold, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, traveling in pain, birth and pain to be delivered. And I saw another wonder in heaven, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head, and his tail did drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, cast it to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all the earth with a rod of iron, and he was caught up to God and to his throne. And the women fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was there found any more place in heaven. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast down to the earth, and his angels were cast down with him. And I heard a loud voice saying, Now is come salvation and strength and kingdom of our God, and the patience of his and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of his brethren, of our brethren, is cast out. For he accused them before God day and night, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the power of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death. Therefore rejoice ye heaven, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come unto you, having great wrath, for he knoweth, but he hath a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast down to the earth, he persecuted the women which brought forth the man-child. And to the women was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished at time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the women, so that he might cause the women to be carried away by the flood. And the earth helped the women, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the women, and went to make war with the remnant of his seed, which keep the commandment of God and have the testimony of Jesus. Chapter 13. I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his heads 10 crowns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the names of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded unto death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wandered after the beast, and worshipped the dragon which gave him his power, and worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, and who shall be able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things, and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, and to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell therein. And it was given unto him to make war against the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindred, tongue, and nation. And they that dwell upon the earth shall worship the beast, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the earth. And if any man hath an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with a sword shall be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, having 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth all the world and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, and doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven, and deceiveth them that dwell upon the earth by reasons of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell upon the earth to make an image unto the beast which had a wound by a sword and did live, and that he has power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship him to be killed. And he causeth all, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man could buy, saving him which have the mark of the beast, or the name of the beast, or the number of the beast. And here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count, for it is the number of a man. It is 666. Chapter 14. And after this I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in his forehead. And as I heard, as it were, a voice of many waters, and a voice of great thundering. And I heard the voice of many harpers harping with their harps, and they sang a new song before the throne and before the beast and the elders. And no man could learn the song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These were they which are not defiled by